He didn't say anything about a murder. I'm gonna point that out. He was in here, and he's according to him, my father just died. He says that guests showed up, a bunch of different guests. Some ones he thought he recognized, including the foreman, which we know about exclusively because he was one of the bound. He was mentioned in the changelings bound list, but I couldn't get to him or find him because I'd never encountered him as the bachelor. But apparently he must be fine. Maybe other characters. Then they left. Isidore was still alive. Then Isidore opened the door for another character. Somebody that was heavy and spoke in a deep voice. That sounded like they might be from the steppe. And then it went silent. That's noteworthy, because it's weird. There's no audio referring to a struggle. Nothing he describes talks about there being any kind of struggle or skirmish or like there's no indication that Isidore was attacked. Just that at some point, apparently, he had died. Because he's found dead on the floor. And that's sometime after the heavy person came in. The heavy person might have killed them because Sticky didn't check in between. Shit. There's no water nearby. Oh well. Sticky did not check in between, so we don't know if the person killed them right there or what. All we know is that whatever killed Isidore was apparently quiet because Sticky doesn't remark on the sound. I should not have gone this way. I should have gone in a different trajectory. I mean, I didn't have a lot of options. There's a lot of fences everywhere that make this path difficult to navigate. All we know is that Sticky's story does not mention Isidore's death. It does not mention him making any kind of dead-like sound that indicates he died. He didn't, not even falling or anything. All we know is that he heard various guests, then one guest, then Isidore was dead when he checked, but he hid because he saw a weird, shapeless female figure that he can't describe, which sounds a lot like the angel. It's odd. It sounds to me a lot like the angel figure you see on the second half of the campaign that attacks you on a regular basis. The version of the plague you have to stand still to avoid. Which might even explain why he was safe, because he was standing still inside the wardrobe until it disappeared. That's like the closest, that's almost like the closest in-universe explanation we've had of that particular creature. My voice is doing weird things right now that I can't really explain.
It's chilly here. Very chilly.
I don't even know how to explain that. I think it might have something to do with the fact that I struggle to I can't really burp, or I struggle to burp or something. I've got like a weird tightness in my throat, and sometimes when I speak, the word like kind of gives out or kind of struggles, and it's just kind of stuck there until it's not a concern because it's something that happens every now and then, but it's like one of those really weird problems that comes up when you have to talk for several hours a day for your job, is the weird impediments that happen to the process of talking that you kind of have to power through. So like I'm in this particular episode, I'm like having like words happen every now and then. Grace, did you see my father, Isidore Burrock, yesterday? Oh, I did. I saw him return from the steppe. Have you talked to him? No, but I followed him. He entered his house. Then I felt that he was anxious, desperate even. He smelled of smoke. I didn't dare knock on the door, but peeked through the window. What did you see? I saw him take off his warm clothes, take them outside and burn them. Then he wiped his body with cloth, threw it on the floor, and burnt it as well. Then he got dressed and left. I followed him. I tried to call out for him quietly, but he didn't hear me. He stopped at the stone yard. He arrived at the stone yard and knocked on Simon's door. They let him in. And then? Then I went back. I stopped by at Murky's on the way to tell her old Isidore was back. Who's Murky? A girl, an orphan like me. She lives in a carriage and doesn't really like to talk. Thank you, Grace. Back to Murky. Oof.
No.
I have less than an hour. And I don't know if Murky will end the quest or if she'll send me on another errand. And if she sends me on another errand, I might have to reload the day to do the quest. To a previous part of the day. Like before I met with the Bachelor, and maybe go to Sticky first. Since the Bachelor is not a priority, I can talk to him once before midnight and then the quest ends. Whereas this is the big quest, apparently. Shit. Shit. It's a little silly, mechanically, this game, and maybe franchise, if they stick to the same model next game. Having to race to do stuff before midnight makes sense for some of the storylines because they're time-sensitive elements. But we'll see what this manifests as, because it seems like I'm just supposed to talk to Murky and Grace about what happened. And you shouldn't be able, like, midnight happening shouldn't suddenly strike that plot line from existence. Like, some stories are time-sensitive in their story, but some stuff is just time-sensitive because the game's structured that way. There's, as far as I'm aware, there's not a single story quest in the main story or side stories that ever carries on to the next day. They are always contained within one 24-hour period, and if you don't finish them in time, they just vanish, no matter how much that does or does not make sense in the story. It'd be interesting to see if the next game might have multi-day stories, or stories that just don't expire strangely, because that's how real life works. Arguably, you could say the main story is either one multi-day story or several multi-day stories. So on that level, it kind of already does happen, because the main story is always like a continuous plot line that picks up where it carries off, picks up where it left off and stuff like that. Oh boy, it's our last hour. Interesting little audio issue that in this game. Why couldn't I talk to Murky? A quirk of this game is that every time you open a menu while audio is playing, it'll replay that sound, including going through doors, I believe. Are they gone? Please tell me they're gone. Okay, at least they're gone. No, they're not. They're walking around. Hello.
What have you got there? 2 more hands?
I saw you. Sticky's take on her. We're friends with Murky, even though she's just a little tot. I'll have you know she's actually very independent. One thing Murky is seriously fond of is digging and playing in the mud. You can also sometimes see her push along somewhere, looking all preoccupied, and the places she chooses are usually, like, sinister. I respect that. Grace's take. Little Murky's an orphan. Her mom and dad lie by the eastern wall here. They died 5 years ago. I don't know why. They won't tell me. They're always weeping. As for her eating dirt, that's untrue. I've never seen it. I like these. I love how childish this shit is. Like, she doesn't eat dirt. Nuh-uh. It's like the type of rumors all these shitty children would point at each other constantly. And Murky and Sticky's like, man, she's edgy. I respect that. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting playing through a campaign where all of our bound are children, and because they all talk and interact like this. I'll probably enjoy them more than I did the Canes, which were just... I liked it when characters like the Inquisitor started showing up because I was tired of interacting with the Canes, frankly. I also like the... I think out of the 3 families, I like the Vlads the most, the Olginskis. Yeah. The Stamatins are just shitty and rude. The Canes are insufferable. And the Olgimskis are actually relatively likable, aside from all the shitty things they do. They're shitty in action, but both in plot interaction and their dialogue and their personalities, they're more tolerable characters. But then you find out that maybe, I don't know, maybe they caused the whole thing, who knows? That's what the game keeps teasing with you with that, at least. They definitely did several horrible things, at the very least. But But the children are fun. They have strong personalities, including the one that I can't tell if they're a child or not. What's her name? Aspity. I almost said Apella. I was mixing up Aspity and Capella as one word. I saw you. You saw me? I live here. See this van? Cozy.
What have you got there?
You're so...
2 more hands?
What? Weird line. What are you seeing, Murky? You're so big. Murky, tell me, did you go to my father? To Isidore yesterday? I did. Grace invited me to. When? At night. So you didn't sleep? I didn't. I rarely sleep at night. What did you see? I saw him return home. He sat down and was just sitting for the longest time. Didn't move. Fell asleep most likely. Then I came back here. Saw you arrive. What? You saw me get off the train? I saw you get into a fight too. Then I hid myself and fell asleep. So you came back from my father. Then I arrived. Has a lot of time passed between these two events? Yes. I had enough time to repair the mousetrap. Will you tell what you've told me to anyone else if I bring them here? I will. Thank you, Murky. Is this even a quest, actually? Yes. No. Yes. Ooh, it's over. I did it. Cool. Yeah, the family home. The guards that kept watch over my family house at night have gone to the termitary. I wonder what they needed there. Was there a murder? Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. The Doss house it is. The guards have the key to my father's house. The boy was spying on the house. Someone called Murky was following my father that night? A ghost of a woman was seen in the house. What does this all mean? Yeah, I've got a number of theories about that, which I've explained at this point. But Murky... Murky... Murky, 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 Murky. Because you went there and came back and saw when I arrived, you have a timetable. You can place the time of death most accurately of anyone in this game. That's important. Well, important detail is that shit's pretty fucked at the moment. As far as my health goes. Can I use this bed? Oh, that's nice of you. Very nice of you. Thank you for that. Let's make a manual save because I'm about to skip forward in time, and that's not always a good idea.
The place at night.
It's probably fine. Don't worry about that. Poor Haruspex. You had a hard day. Now it's 3 a.m.
Your timely efforts allowed your supporters to remain unharmed.
A new mime performance is being rehearsed at the theater. Rehearsed, but when do they ever play for anyone is what I'm wondering. All they ever talk about is how they're rehearsing. The misunderstanding has been partially solved. Bachelor Denkovsky has managed to uncover the truth. Simon Kane fell victim to some unknown disease, since the connection between the killings is evident. It is clear that your revered father, Isidore Burke, had died of the same cause. Your name will be cleared, if gradually. However, we'd like to warn you the people with a certain bias are likely to deliberately ignore the facts. Then, there are the simpletons who disregard the facts out of stupidity. Take care. Each one of the families in power will play their own game and pursue their own purpose. Always at your service, benefactors. Probably safe to assume that the weird letters I'm getting from people that somehow know how to contact me are probably the same people that were contacting the Bachelor constantly. Let's take a look at you. There it goes. It's just in there. Yeah. Brown twire. One of the fearsome species of twire. The steppe people believe the herb is sentient and hostile to humans. The elders call it the herb of worms. So I've looked into it a bit, and one of the big things about the Haruspex, in addition to harvesting organs, is he can harvest herbs, and he can make things out of both. I don't really know how yet. Rather frustratingly, all the resources that explain how the how this character works just say you just use them to make stuff. I'm like, how? Do I click on them? Clicking on them, left clicking does nothing, right clicking drops them. I don't know how to use them exactly, so I'm still... Jury's still on that. Also, I'm a little perturbed at how hard to see that herb was. I'm gonna pay a visit to the worms and see if they attack me on sight or not. I think the Haruspex is a different relationship with them entirely. And I'm gonna have to train myself. In addition to garbage, I need to train myself to see those kinds of plants and recognize them, because that one was hard to see. It was once I had locked eyes on it, it was noticeably different from its surroundings, but it still looks similar to just the general brownness of the screen. I feel the smell of blood. You have with you the blood of a person that is not with you, right? You have a keen nose. How much blood do you need? It isn't I who need it, the earth does. The earth won't take more than it needs to grow as many herbs as you will take from me. Take it. What did I get? We got the worms inside Bodo's body. We gather herbs, brown twire, rusty twire, black twire, and bloody twire, and swervy, and uhig, Jesus, uhig, and white wisp speak to us. Does anyone in this town buy twire? There is a den in earth, yes, a den where people drink liquid twireine. A terrible man spends his days there, spends his nights, seduces children of Bodo into treachery, curse him. It was he who made us kill our Odonge brothers, the brothers that have given away our secrets. So why don't you kill him? He is very strong, yes, strong, no soldier by trade, but a mighty fighter still. He builds houses. He's very fierce, yes, fierce. None of the Odonge could avenge our seduced sisters, our bribed brothers. We tried to fight back, but he's killed everyone who went against him. Some builder he is. We are the worms inside Bodo's body. Huh. If we're running with the previous strange theory I was running around with, the idea that the entire city is like this cow's body, the idea that they might be talking about Bodo being that cow is interesting, or that ox. I don't remember what gender it might be. I guess it looked, yeah, I guess it looked more like a bull. I don't know why I said ox. That's a different animal. The idea that it's a bull's body, just because there's the similarity between those two drawings, is interesting. They're really, they go heavy on the bulls, by the way. I was looking at the merchandise for this company, Ice Pick Lodge, because I was ordering the tabletop game, and I was looking at the merchandise they have. They sell 3 shirts total, not counting gender and color variations. They sell 3 shirts for Pathologic. One just has clocks on it, and I'm like, okay, I mean, I get it, because it's a game about time passing and the struggling against that time, but it's just a fucking shirt with clocks on it. It's kind of underwhelming. Then they have one that has 3 bulls on it. It's kind of eye-catching and cool looking. It's these 3 silhouettes in different variations of brown and tan of bulls. Still kind of hard to connect to a game because it's just some bulls, but you know, the fact that I'm just pointing out that like they emphasize the bulls so much that one of the 3 shirts for this game is bulls. The other shirt is called Stairway to Heaven, and it's a drawing of one of those impossible buildings. Not the polyhedron. Weirdly, not the polyhedron. They don't have a shirt of the polyhedron, but they have a shirt of one of those weird ruins you see that defy gravity. Like they're a third of a house just standing up in like 3 or 4 places in town. That's one of the shirts. I'm actually a little weirded out by they don't have a shirt for any of the characters, like all 3 characters at once, or a shirt for each character. They don't have a shirt for the polyhedron, or the map of the city, or any stylish stuff like that. They just have some bowls, some clocks, and the stairway to heaven. Interesting choices, but clearly the bowls continue to be important. They're in town. They're used as an image at one point. They're the ones inside the tannery. Is the heavy part of the industry. The map of the town is likened to the body of a bull. Like a bunch of stuff going on there. I would assume, and I don't know if it's been explained before or not, Bodo. It'd be hard for me to keep track of every detail. But if my first guess would be Bodo might be some kind of great bull, I kind of think about like the idea of you know, when people talk about like the world being on the back of a turtle, it's on the back of an elephant, or that kind of stuff like that, like those kinds of approaches to things. Like, oh yes, the great city, the city is a great bull is like the kind of things people would run with in ideologies and stuff. Give me some herbs, worm. Hello, those are herbs. Blood twire, price 10. Brown twire, price 12, 14. So blood's the lowest quality one. Bloody twire, one of the more popular species of twire, an essential component of the famous twire infusions, which vary based on age and amount of herb. 10. Black twire, a rare herb with unique properties, popularly called woe grass. 14. Brown twire, one of the more fearsome species of twire. The steppe people believe this herb is sentient and hostile to humans. The elders call it the herb of worms. That's the first one I found, isn't it? Yeah. What are my organs worth? Liver's worth 4 points. They have descriptions. Liver. Human liver. Extracting organs from human body is seen as a horrible blasphemy in the local tribal community. Only the Menku are allowed to do this because they have an ancestral right to cut living bodies. However, some gatherers, and also the hunchback from the Atrium district, would be willing to trade for something this rare. Oh. I wish I'd read this sooner. Okay. So you can trade it with gatherers and the hunchback. This is a gatherer right here. Okay. I should have assumed that, honestly. I'm sorry, what I mean to say is I should have read this description. I assumed not to read the descriptions because I'm like, it's just a liver. I get it. But no, I should have stopped in that moment. Granted, I was doing something else when I got my first kills. Kidney. Human kidney. Extracting organs, blah blah blah. That's the same description. Yeah, same description for all 3 items. And blood. Blood's worth 3 points, liver's worth 4, kidney's worth 4, heart's worth 5. Interesting. How much can I afford overall? I don't have any other use for them right now, so let's go all in. 14 for black, 12 for that. Gotta go in a really particular amount if I want to make this work. 4, 12. I can get... If I can reduce the value of something by like 1... Get rid of a 14, grab a 12, then I can get one of these. Now I'm only offset by 1. It's a good value. As close as we're going to get, considering how big these intervals are. Trading with these guys is way more complicated than most people. I'm interested in this, though. So we're taking the existing bachelor mechanics, the ability to go to garbage cans and fill up water bottles and grab weird trinkets and shit like that, and to that like I can still trade with children and other people and do all that stuff like the bachelor could. But now I can also pick up herbs, which might be hard to find, or I can pick up organs from the dead, which you kill plenty of people in this game, so those organs should be easy to find. In fact, I'm curious. The bachelor had an issue where if somebody besides him got the killing blow, the loot disappeared. I was assuming that the person was picking up the loot or something like that. Can the Haruspex loot organs from dead bodies he didn't make? Like if somebody else gets the killing blow? Either way, I have way more loot to get, and that loot is apparently also used for trading. But I think I also might be able to use both the herbs and the organs for crafting. But based on my experience so far, herbs seem harder to get. because they're hard to spot, whereas organs are going to happen at me based on how the story went previously. So I guess we'll see. Ooh, hey. I'm gonna have to train my eye to look for variations, I suppose. Oh man, that's gonna take some brain power, just scanning the herbs constantly. Oh, I got peanuts on the middle of this bridge. That's just fucking weird. It's basically when I run around in these open fields, or maybe even in parts of town, I just have to be on the constant lookout for any tiny detail that stands out even a bit. There's one. I'm like, that's a weirdly tall one, isn't it? Ah, it's one of them. Huh. I don't know how to craft with them yet. We'll figure that out. But I know I'm supposed to be able to craft stuff with them. It's supposed to be kind of important, too. Like, and we know that based on the fact that when I was playing as the Bachelor, the Haruspex was crafting the items that I used to do the entire ending. Like, I ran around and cured everyone using panaceas that the Haruspex crafted. So I assume that the story of the Haruspex around day 7 or so, those wolves, or dogs howling. Or I assume that around day 7 or so, the Haruspex is going to learn how to make a panacea, and it's going to be my job to make those myself. That's going to be interesting. I guess I'll have more control over that than the Bachelor did. Maybe I can do a better job than... I mean, I'll have more control over it than the Bachelor did when he was when I was playing as him, because he didn't have much power. That's not a lootable one. That's gonna drive me crazy. It stands out like so much. Those aren't lootable either, even though they're kind of like the ones that were lootable. I have 2 hours to get to the play. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I'm wondering if I can do a better job than the Haruspex did in my campaign, because he only got X number of panaceas, or at least that's how many reached the Bachelor, and that affected how many people I could save, and it could be really important potentially to be able to save a lot more people, for example. There's a lot of random grass in town. I'm wondering if I'll find stuff like that lying around. These ones are going to bother me so much. They stand out so much. Oh, Jesus. These are a nightmare of weeds. How would you spot anything standing out around here? You're almost better off just mashing E like a lunatic the whole time. And just hoping you get lucky. So my concern is that these are going to fill up my inventory. No. Ugh. Fuck me. Oh, it's going to be a nightmare. Okay, so the plants and the organs, because I checked earlier and the organs were there too. The plants and the organs fill the same inventory that all of your other barter items do. All of them. They also fill the same inventory as your quest items. That's a goddamn nightmare. You throw it at me. God damn. Ah. God damn it. God damn. Suck at this. See? Immediately. Fuck. At least water doesn't go in that menu. Jesus. I can't loot the blood or the razor. Oh boy. Well, I'm gonna get a lot of kills, so I need to at least have let's go with the necklace. I think the bone necklace wasn't that valuable or something. At the very least, I need a stack for all 4 gores, because I'm gonna be killing a lot of people. That's just a part of the fact that so many random dudes attack you constantly. And I need to be prepared to fight them and take the 4 items off them and build up those inventories. The Bachelor had so much trouble navigating that particular inventory menu. I took a lot of damage there. Undoing the effort of me doing all that sleeping to heal. At least the exhaustion's fixed. Yeah, that's gonna be a rough campaign. I'm gonna have to just drop a lot of items and not maintain their value. Maybe I might have to set up a document that tells me the trade value of each item so I can figure out what the lowest value items are for normal bartering, because if all of my plants and all of my organs are going to fill the same menu, then I can't carry every variety of barter item at once the way that the Bachelor usually did. I only really had inventory problems when the Bachelor had really obnoxious quests, like when the Bachelor would have a mission where he had to collect 5 blood samples, and the blood samples were all individual unique items that took up 5 separate slots. That was the only real time I had inventory problems. We'll see. It's definitely different.